We're getting in big breaking news, and it is indeed one of the biggest steps forward for India's nuclear weapons program. India today can now confirm that the country has successfully tested its most ambitious weapon system, a long-range ballistic nuclear missile codenamed K4 that's built to strike targets up to 3,500 kilometers away. In fact, India today has even accessed the first images that you're seeing on your screens right now of this secretive weapon system that has almost never been seen before in flight. Let's go straight now to India Today's editor Shiv Arur. Shiv, this is a huge accomplishment by the DRDO, isn't it? They have once again very successfully test-fired the K4 nuclear-capable submarine-launched ballistic missile.
That's absolutely right, Avantika. It's a huge accomplishment. This is a missile, that has only very slightly been officially acknowledged by the Indian government because it's a very sensitive weapons program. Now, this missile is called the K4, where the K actually stands for Abdul Kalam. The K4 is India's most ambitious, most difficult, missile ever built because not only is it a long-range missile, not only is it nuclear capable, but it is launched from a submerged submarine. So this is a missile that actually travels through water, breaks the surface, and then actually travels to its target. Now, this missile has a range of about 3,500 kilometers, which makes it, intermediate to intercontinental range, giving it the capability to reach targets quite far away from India, including China. But remember that this particular missile test was conducted at an undisclosed secret location in the Bay of Bengal on the 7th of March and on the 31st of March is when both these missile tests actually happened. Now, a lot of people will be wondering, whenever India has tested, missiles like the Agni or the Prithvi, the Ministry of Defense and the government always announce it. Now, so why haven't they announced, this particular missile test?
Yes.
Well, for many different reasons. For one thing, since it's a submarine-launched missile, secrecy is a very important aspect of, all information surrounding these weapon systems. And India has only acknowledged the presence of this weapon system. Now, we here in India Today have accessed that video clip, which gives you for the first time, a visual perspective of what the K4 missile actually looks like. So we've got that cleared by our sources. And we also know for a fact that two successful missile tests were conducted on the 7th of March and on the 31st of March.
And they've also declared it to be a roaring success, isn't it? But Shiv, tell me, given that the details still remain scarce and the project is indeed very sensitive, we do believe that this missile was test-fired from, on board the INS Arihant. Can you give us more detail about the features of this missile and why was it test-fired twice?
Very good question. Yes, that's right. That's a very important aspect that you've just mentioned, Avantika. It was indeed tested from the Arihant, which happens to be India's home-built ballistic missile submarine. It hasn't entered service yet, but will be doing so very shortly. It's India's first home-built nuclear submarine that has been the platform for this particular missile test. Now, the features of this missile, it's taken a very long time to come. The kind of engineering prowess it has taken for India to actually be able to demonstrate the capability of such a missile, has taken a huge amount of time and the brilliance of many scientists. Let's remember that this missile is completely Indian. Nobody from abroad, not the Russians, not the Americans, nobody would ever share this kind of technology with India. Avantika, you yourself know this very well. So India has had to painstakingly develop this missile, on home ground, using our own brilliant minds, using our own scientists, both men and women, to build the K4 missile system. It's a ballistic missile, so it basically means a submarine that's actually submerged below the surface of the water. Yes. The missile will bubble up from the submarine itself, hit the water surface, its rocket boosters will engage, and it will travel in a ballistic arc, well into space before falling down and striking its target up to 3,500 kilometers away. It's capable of carrying a nuclear warhead of about 500 kilograms, half a ton, nuclear payload. So it basically is India's most ambitious, most meticulously built, most complex weapon system as far as our nuclear strategic arsenal is concerned. So it's a huge success for India. And the fact that 2 tests have been conducted basically means that they are well on their way to proving it. When a weapon system needs to be proven, usually a series of tests are conducted, Avantika, to test various aspects of it. Range, its navigability, its control systems, its flight control computers, the efficacy of the warhead itself. All of these things will be tested separately, and that's why it requires a series of tests.
Right, Shiv. Such a proud moment for our country. Thank you so much for joining us and explaining to us, the more details about this ballistic missile that we just got you visuals of, that you're seeing on your screens.
Now, Munir is still to be arrested. He is the prime suspect in this case. He's also related to the NIA DSP, is what UP police sources are telling India today. We will continue to track that story. But moving on, one of India's most famous women bikers, Veenu Paliwal, she's passed away in a road accident. Now, Paliwal died in a motorcycle accident in Madhya Pradesh's Vidisha district.